Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Disney World. We're staying in the Magic Kingdom this week. We're headed over to Liberty Square, where we're going to take a look at an attraction that is usually overlooked but has a lot of interesting history. We're taking a look at the Hall of Presidents. Now, the Hall of Presidents is an attraction that opened on opening day at Disney World, October 1st, 1971, with the rest of the Magic Kingdom. It was placed in this building that was meant to resemble Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and it is an attraction, if you've never been on it, that is half show, half animatronic show, by which I mean half of it is basically a super widescreen movie that plays, and then the other half of it involves animatronic figures for all of the nation's presidents, all of the U.S. presidents. Now, what's interesting about this is it isn't a attraction that had existed first in Disneyland, but it is an attraction that has roots in Disneyland. You see, Walt Disney, previously to building Disney World, before, he unfortunately passed away and they built the Disney World, he had this idea for doing a offshoot of Main Street USA called Liberty Street at Edison Square. And what he originally wanted was an attraction called One Nation Under God, and it would contain wax figures of all of the U.S. presidents at the time. He later wanted to try and make them animated, but unfortunately at the time the technology just wasn't there, and Walt, being a perfectionist and also looking ahead, just realized that it wasn't the time to tackle this sort of project. So it never really happened, but he still collaborated with Imagineers at Wet Enterprises, and they tried to make the first audio animatronic in human form. And who would it be? It would be one of Walt's heroes, Abraham Lincoln. And what's really clever is, and this is something he did a few times, is he coordinated with other outside companies to fund it. He made it Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which eventually was going to reside in Disney, but it has roots in the 1964 World's Fair. It was for the Illinois Pavilion. There's, of course, this famous story about the technology behind the audio animatronics. Originally, the hydraulic fluid, I don't know how true this is, I've never heard it confirmed, but supposedly the hydraulic fluid used in audio animatronics way back in the beginning was red. And during one of the test shows for Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, he stood up to give his speech, which is what was planned, and a hydraulic line blew, causing this red liquid to sort of soak up in his, I think it was his shirt, so it looked as if he had this red stuff seeping through his shirt, and then he slumped back into the chair because without the hydraulic fluid, you can't keep that standing motion. So, of course, it resembled Abraham Lincoln being shot and falling into his chair. And apparently from that point on, he had made sure that all hydraulic fluid for animatronics was clear or a different color. Like I said, don't know how true that is. Either way, it is definitely an amusing image to see this technology so spectacularly fail. But by the time the World's Fair opened and became popular, it didn't fail, and it impressed, and it was sort of the opening gateway towards creating human audio animatronics. Now, the attraction in Disney World remained virtually unchanged from 1971 all the way to 1993. The changes that were made was that a new president, whenever a new president was sworn into office, they would add that president to the show. So that included Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and then Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. And then with the recent few presidents, they actually, rather than getting an actor to voice the speeches like was done with George Washington and Lincoln, who we obviously could not get recordings of, they have the actual president at the time record a short little speech for the attraction, which is really cool. And so, of course, it does get updated every 4 to 8 years, depending on, when a president's elected. And then there are various changes. There were various changes to the show, the narrators, the themes focused, of course, our public acceptance of what's an acceptable way of telling the American story has changed since, the 1970s. So obviously the story that we have to tell through the attraction changes as well. It's definitely not the most exhilarating attraction. I think it's always a great attraction to hit up if you're ever in the Magic Kingdom. It's, cool to watch every once in a while. Morgan Freeman is currently the narrator, so who doesn't want to hear him talk for a while? And it's a good way to get off your feet and relax in a nice, cool place. And technically, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Barack Obama are A100 models of the audio animatronics, which are the most advanced, lifelike, and expressive human audio animatronics at Disney. So if you want to peek at like the cutting edge of animatronic technology, it's actually the Hall of Presidents that you need to go to. In any case, this has been a short look at the Hall of Presidents. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope whatever you're doing this week, you make the most of it. And I hope to see you all here next week for the next episode of Minecraft Disney World. Bye, everybody.